Welcome back, and for a look at the day's business news, I'm now joined by Stephen Carroll. Hello, Stephen. Now, we're starting things off with Spain, and there's a sign that the situation is stabilising there.
Yes, finally, some good news for Spain. This is the ratings agency Moody's that confirmed its credit rating it gives to Spain. It's Baa3, which is a couple of notches up from junk status. It's broadly in line with what Standard & Poor's told us last week as well. The important thing about this is they're saying that Spain is still a worthy investment. It's still a place to put your money. Once you get down to junk status, things get much more difficult to get money in and out of the country. Now, that's good news for Mariano Rajoy. It's also helped Spain's bond yields. They've gone down to the lowest level since April this morning, and after that news that they're about 5.5% at the moment. Now, the reason for this, Moody's is saying, is because of the support that's being offered to Spain from the EU and to the European Central Bank, something that we don't know when they're going to take it. It's almost now a given that they will. Mariano Rajoy meeting with Jose Manuel Barroso and also Herman Van Rompuy later today, so he'll be discussing that with them, I'm sure.
All right, now we're going to stick with the Eurozone and head to Greece. We're getting some idea now as to why talk over reforms there is taking so long.
Yeah, this is the 13.5 billion euros worth of cuts Greece needs to make to get the next instalment of its bailout loans. We're told now the difficulty comes down to reforms in the labour market. That's where the stumbling block is between Greece and its international lenders. The French newspaper Les Echos has a bit of detail on this morning. They say the Troika are looking to reduce the notice periods that workers are given if employers are trying to sack them, also the redundancy payments that they're statutorily obliged to give, and also to try and change the working week so it's spread over 6 days rather than 5. The same number of hours, but over 6 days is one of the things the Troika is looking for. Now, both sides are really keen to get an agreement on this, but neither wants to give too much away.
The delaying of the talks with the Troika, which is obviously deliberate on their side, does not benefit Greece nor the European Union. The discussions must finish, but not just in any old shape or form.
Moving on to a surprise change at the top of the US bank Citigroup.
Yeah, I mean, this was a shock, really, the resignation of the CEO, Vikram Pandit, from America's third largest bank. It said he went because of a disagreement with the company's board. The chairman of the board, Michael O'Neill, has denied that. But Vikram Pandit was credited with keeping Citigroup really kind of going during the subprime crisis when he took the job in 2007. Citigroup was having a lot of troubles there. It's a huge upheaval for the bank. The new CEO, is a man called Michael Corbett. He's been with Citigroup since 1983, but he is thought to be a steady choice for the company's future.
The new CEO is a banker. He's in charge of the European, Middle East and Africa division, which has had some good loan growth. It's been a good performer for them for a few years. He's 52 years old, which is, I think, a good age to become CEO of a company.
Next, European regulators have told Google it must change its new privacy policy or face fines. An investigation by the French data protection watchdog found Google failed to provide users with adequate information about how their personal data was being used. The internet giant's been given 4 months to make changes.
Google searches are a routine thing for millions of people worldwide, but do the searches you make reveal too much about you? The California-based internet giant uses data collected to target potential customers. Under new terms and conditions rolled out earlier this year, Google integrates data from various divisions such as YouTube and Gmail to generate business. A 7-month-long investigation led by the French Government Agency for Digital Privacy highlights potential issues with Google's use of personal data.
Once you enter the Google Galaxy, you don't exactly know how personal data is used. All data is used more or less in the same way, whether it's sensitive or not, whether it's geographic information or bank data.
The agency said it has sent several requests to Google, but the answers were inadequate. Now the European privacy watchdog says the onus is on Google to clarify its search policies.
The findings of the French Data Protection Office show that Google now has to act. There's a binding law in Europe which regulates how private data have to be protected. And I think Google would be well advised to take steps to clear up the problems, which have now become obvious.
Google says it is aware of the French agency's concerns, but it added it is confident its use of personal data is perfectly legal and vital to provide a service to its users. It has 3 to 4 months to confirm to EU requests or face possible legal proceedings.
A look now at some of the day's other business news in brief. The British state-backed bank RBS has taken a step towards moving back into private ownership. It's withdrawn from an insurance scheme which sees government money cover losses from risky assets. RBS paid £2.5 billion for the insurance, which was set up 4 years ago when the bank was bailed out by the British government.
The world's biggest soft drinks maker Coca-Cola has warned of slowing economic growth in China. The company's sales grew by just 2% in 3 months to the end of September, down from 7% during the previous 3 months. Coca-Cola's CEO said he expected the slowdown in China to have a short-term effect on their business.
And the French food company Danone has seen its business hit by the continuing economic turmoil in Europe. In particular, sales of milk have fallen by more than 10% in Italy and Spain. Overall, the company posted better than expected revenues of €5.26 million for the third quarter, driven by growth in emerging markets.
All right, Stephen, let's now take a look at the markets midweek. How are they doing?
Yeah, trading has just begun in Europe. They're all up. Believe it or not, it's down to confidence in the Eurozone. It's what's buoying the markets. We're seeing the positive effects there of that decision by Moody's to keep Spain's credit rating in place. In Madrid, the gains are being led largely by their banks, again down to that Moody's decision. So unusually good news. That carried over from Asia as well, which had been buoyed by gains on Wall Street on Tuesday. In Japan, you can see the Nikkei there up to 1.21% up. Those shares reaching their highest level in 5 months.
Now, Stephen, earlier this week we spoke of the business of data mining, where companies harvest information online to build profiles on customers. And now MasterCard's getting in on the act too.
Yeah, this is really interesting. MasterCard says it's now analysing data from purchases you make with your credit card to try and they're planning to use this to sell advertising. This is according to the Financial Times newspaper, who've seen MasterCard's sales pitch in this regard. And they say that they're pitching to advertisers that they'll be able to target the right group of consumers using this data that they're collecting. It's a huge database. There are 34 billion transactions every year that go through the MasterCard network. But the company has told the Financial Times that it is committed to protecting individuals' privacies and nobody's names or personal details will be shared as part of this practice.
Right, reassuring news there. All right, now let's wrap up with the battle of the tablet computers. It's stepping up with Microsoft entering the market.
That's right. This is the new Microsoft Surface we got some more details of on Tuesday. They're entering a very competitive market, dominated, of course, by Apple's iPad. It's going to retail this new tablet at €489, goes on sale next Friday in 8 countries, including France. It will have slightly bigger storage than the comparable iPad model. But it will...
Is that cheaper than an iPad or about
yes.
the same?
At this moment, I think it is. It will take some revenue from the rivals who use the Windows operating system, and because they get licensing revenues from that as well. This comes at the same time that we have got a rumour from Apple. They're holding an event next Tuesday. We don't know what it is, as we never do in these situations, but we think it could be the mini iPad. This is the speculation around it. This will be the new generation of iPad computers, so plenty more competition in that area.
And we'll find out on Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Okay, well, I'm sure we'll be bringing you that right here on France 24. Thank you very much, Stephen. Thank you for watching. Do stay tuned for the latest headlines with Stuart Norval in just a couple of minutes.